Hey, what's going on, Coach? Kip Ione, founder, Teams of Men here. If you're finding yourself watching this video, that means you just completed lesson one, which you can see on the screen here, of our 3-lesson mini course, Soundtrack to My Soul. Okay, so we're moving you from that progression of lesson one with your players, where you really force them to look in the mirror about themselves and the songs and the lyrics they brought to you, and now we're progressing to how does their collective reflection play into what they want their team values, their team morality to show and be about. So this second lesson is a video format. I'll still send you a PDF that shows you how to get to this video, but you're done with lesson one, which you can see here. You've already completed all these steps, and you're arriving here today to this video for lesson two. So the first thing that you're bringing with you today is the end of lesson one. I asked you to take those same favorite songs that your players brought to you, and I wanted you to have them look at it for about the final 5 minutes of lesson one and send to you, either they wrote it on paper or they emailed or texted you, the phrases from the song that they felt didn't reflect who they wanted to be. So the first part and the majority of lesson one was all what parts of these lyrics really resonate with me as a person. It's why it's my favorite song. Now we're moving you at the end of it, you move them into tell me what words, phrases, lyrics are a problem. So I want to show you what to do with that work before you jump into lesson two when the players arrive. So there's kind of two different methods that I wanted to show you that you could use here. And let me grab here real quick. The first one was you could just print out, and you can see down here in the Loom camera, I printed out players' lyrics, and we highlighted in different ways or circled the lyrics that they wanted you to know. Coach, those lyrics, even though it's my favorite song, don't really represent me. So that's one way. You could just have 12 to 15 printouts of individual songs that the players wrote down the words. That's one way you could do it. Second level of that, if you look on the screen here, you could have just copy and pasted, screenshotted images from the lyrics the guy sent you, and now you have it on this scroll menu. That's another way you could kind of arrive to this meeting. With all these lyrics that you took from the last one, and you've kind of put it into this file to keep. Another way I wanted to show you was you could actually, if you got iMovie and you feel comfortable with iMovie, you could put these into a scroll. So literally, I just put each 1 to 4 seconds, all the screenshots we had, and you put this in front of your team as they walk in, all the lyrics they highlighted that they wanted to draw attention to didn't reflect themselves. And that literally took me like 15 seconds on iMovie. Drag, drop, make it an MP4, save. So you've got these 3 different ways that you compiled the problematic lyrics, right? Now, when they walk in, you could have any of these ready just to review and show them, kind of prove to them you did the work that you said you're going to do at the end of lesson one and gathering all their lyrics. But the really important part of this is you're going to now show them to start this session 2 of Soundtrack to My Soul is, guys, I got all your stuff. You see that I got all your songs. Thank you for getting me all your lyrics that you think don't represent you. Now I want to move us into how do we combine what we don't like as a group into something the team won't stand for internally. And that's where it's simple. Just compile a list. So here's what I used with our team recently. And just, you can call the list something else, and you're going to get different categories based on your players' songs than me. But themes from lyrics you guys sent me. And I went through all their highlighted lyrics, and here are the common themes of what guys highlighted. So guys 8 times in my group were like, Coach, when they use the N word in this song, that's not me. That's not what I want to be about. Coach, the 7 times they reference sex or genitals, that's not what I want to be about. Derogatory terms for women, F-bombs, homophobic terms also made the list. So now you have this table. You've got it in front of your group. Now I want you to split your group up into small, 3 or 4 breakouts, depending on the size. If you got a whole program, you might have bigger group breakouts, or you might have a lot of little ones. If you got 15 guys, 5 groups of 3 is good, 3 groups of 5 is good. It's up to you. But I want you to send them to these groups. Keep this table up projected. If you don't have a projector, you've printed this table out so each group has one. Then I want you to start with this question for the group. Which 1 to 2 of these lists from the table that I have up for you does your group find common ground? Everybody in your circle doesn't want to be about. Okay? Discuss it, but I also want you prepared to explain to the rest of us why this isn't what your group wants to be about. Then I want you to give them some time. Tip here, put up a timer on Google, like literally put a 4-minute timer, hit go so they see the clock counting down. If you see groups done too early, go over there and prod them. What'd you guys decide on? Why? How? Just keep repeating why, how. You got to draw their thinking out of this, and you got to make sure they're able to explain to the team which 1 to 2 of these things is unacceptable. Now, I think it's a big caveat in here. You also want to say to the group, guys, none of these are good. We're going to start with our work today on tackling the one problem at a time. You're not going to let any of these fly, probably, but you don't want to try to dive into 7 different fixes in this session. You want to get to 1 or 2. So you're going to let all the groups share after that timer goes off with the group work, and hopefully, I think you'll see naturally 1 to 2 things that stick out from all your groups that there's some commonality on. That's where you want to get to. Once you get to that commonality, here's phase 2. Okay? Guys, now I want you to go back to your groups, and I want you to talk to each other. What are we willing to do to prove our conviction that the songs with these types of lyrics is not who we want to be about? And you need your guys to give you action proposals. Okay, so prompts you can give to all the groups. Guys, what are you individually doing about that song? Okay, what are you doing when you're together as a group? If we're going to hear stuff like this, or the song wants to be played, so you're looking for guys to give you ideas. Is it going to be complete banning of those songs? Is it going to be clean versions only? Is it going to be earbuds in individually? It's up to you and your team. That's up to you guys. That's what's going to be acceptable. You're trying to get them to go, hey, it's one thing to say, I'm not about this. Where does that fly with, but I play it every day out loud in the team room, in the weight room, on the practice floor? How are they going to get to, I believe, X, but actions speak louder than words, especially when those words are purely internal. I've got to be able to be ready to get my guys to take action on this. So that's where you want to end this philosophical discussion, is you get 1 or 2 of these from the table. Maybe your group's advanced and gets through this quick and you get to 3 or 4 of them. But it can't just be, guys, you know what we don't like is the N-word in songs. Then you leave. They've got to have given you action steps that are going to prove the soundtrack to your team doesn't include things that guys just admitted are problematic.